Go ahead and state your appearance.
Will Kemp, Pepperman for Plaintiffs.
Sammy
Pitch for the carrier. Good morning.
Good morning.
Joel Odou, Eric Freeman, Matthew Kaufman on behalf of the real water defendants.
Good morning.
Your Honor, James Kilroy and Chad Fierce from Milwaukee Instruments.
Good morning.
Your Honor, this is Teddy Park. I'm also on the line. I did not have the ability to have a Zoom, so I apologize, Your Honor.
That's fine. We can hear. Can you hear us okay?
I sure can, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Good. No, thank you. Anybody else appearing on Zoom? Okay. Couple things. So Milwaukee in or out of the trial, or
I would say they're out of the trial. We've been working with them pretty close the last 10 days. I've been informed with the owner. I've actually talked to bankruptcy attorney in North Carolina, and they were trying to get their schedule filed today, I think, but I think it's a little bit more arduous task than we thought. So it's be done over the weekend, certainly by Tuesday.
I agree.
okay. So we'll just plan on going forward without Milwaukee. I do have a stipend order that I haven't signed yet because I just saw it.
That was, we submitted that mostly because we came to an agreement and we're trying to figure out other parts of how we can resolve this. But it also was to resolve almost all the motions that were still pending.
So should I sign that this morning?
Is that one of
The punitive damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get
So if you
that
could do that'd be
signed.
great.
Sure, I'll get that signed right after we're done here. Okay, so that would then just leave plaintiffs in real water, is that right?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Jury instructions verdict form, where are we at with that?
Good morning, Your Honor. So the last minute dealings with Milwaukee and the result left us scrambling a little bit.
And I kept wondering, am I gonna be doing 20 motions this morning or not? So no, totally understandable.
So at least I brought what we had to it's not in strict compliance with, I think, what the court was looking for at this point, but it's close.
So let me chime in and ask you, like, you've done 2 of these already, so I'm hoping, but kind of asking, are there any issues or how many aren't agreed on, or they're like an estimate there?
There's probably approximately 5 instructions not agreed upon, and within those 5, usually it's a word or inclusion of a instruction on damages in this case.
And that's fine. So and then kind of to give me a little more even context about how many are agreed upon.
I do have in terms of the instructions. I have the set of agreed upon instructions that are complete, and there's approximately 28.
Okay, I think you guys told me that before, now that I'm hearing that. Okay, so would it make I'm fine either way in terms of if you want to give me what you have right now, that's fine, or given everything else, would it make more sense to give what you'll have to me on Tuesday, or is now about where you're gonna be regardless?
I think where we're at now is where we're gonna be. It's just in terms of the form.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine then. Mr. Odou?
Joel Odou for the Real Water Defense. I would agree. The disputes are pretty well defined, and we just need the court's assistance. I don't know, there's probably 5-ish things that we need.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
There's about 5 things we need the court to resolve. for
Okay.
us. The only concern I have is, obviously, we got the exhibit or the instructions last night. We reviewed them this morning. We got back to them with what our concerns are, but we want to make sure that we didn't miss anything in our haste to get here this morning.
Yeah, no, and you would not be, I wouldn't consider that you, if you didn't get something back to them, that you waived it or anything like that, so. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me what you have on paper now? So come on up one.
And these are the agreed upon ones or the disagreements, because the concern I have with the disagreement, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
The concern I had with the disagreement was plaintiffs were attempting to summarize Real Water's position, which I appreciate they were taking the laboring oar. But we don't think their summary encapsulated what we were saying, so we shot them back. Our changes at like 8 this morning, and I don't know if Mr. Pepperman had a chance to incorporate those.
I didn't, but I have those changes. As part of this.
Yeah, so just whatever you have, go ahead and give to me now, including, you know, if the portion is what you sent over. That way I can at least kind of take a look, not right now, but you know,
Right.
like in the next couple of days.
And it's the same thing too on the verdicts too. You know,
Oh, sure.
I don't think it's anything that's going to take a whole lot of time to resolve. But
Yeah.
we do need the court's help.
Okay,
So,
hold on. Go
Your
ahead.
Honor, for the record, what I have is, I have this set of agreed upon instructions. I have the set of for the compensatory phase. I have the set of the disputed jury instructions for the compensatory phase. With some notes pertaining to the disputes.
Mhm.
I have plaintiff's proposed verdict form for the compensatory phase. I have plaintiffs, we have the punitive damages verdict form, which is agreed upon. And then we have plaintiff's proposed jury instruction for phase 2. It's only one jury instruction that plaintiffs propose. And then I have Real Water's red line comments to what we're
Okay.
submitting here. Where they make comments on the, you know, the notes on the dispute or the verdict form where they disagree and they highlight those issues, so it's, the court is alerted to the
Sure.
specific disputes at issue.
Okay,
I've provided copies to Mr. Odou, and I'll hand this to
Okay.
court if I can.
perfect, yeah. So sometime later today, if you could also email Word versions of all of these. My law clerk's out today, so if you could email them to you, right?
Yes.
So Rivera A, all right. You all probably have her email address by now. So email Word versions, okay, and yeah, we don't have to deal with the disputes right now, but double checking that we're pretty close already. We've been told that the exhibits are good to go, right? Right, okay. All right, that's good, so thank you all. So if we're just talking about Real Water as a defendant now, in terms of time, frame and days and things, are we probably looking at 2 weeks, or is that kind of up in the air, and I guess obviously part would depend on punitives, but thoughts on that?
And when we did the Gallagher case, which included Milwaukee, we had 30 or 31 witnesses. When we did that, it was 5.5 days. And so, but that was running the days from about 10 to 5.
Okay, mine are shorter, yeah.
Yeah, so I would anticipate that the witnesses are gonna go down from 30 to about 20.
Okay.
That's what we're guessing nowadays. So if it's 20 and we were using that same time frame, that would be 2/3, 5.5. So say 2/3 is 6, so that's about 4 full days. So if we're running full days, but I think a couple days, I know we're starting at 1 o'clock, you know, maybe we have a better view.
Yeah, yeah, so, sure.
Yeah, but that's kind of the way we look at it. So
Okay.
we would think we're starting at 10, let's say we're starting at 10:30 every day. I would think we would get done in maybe 7 or 8 trial days.
Okay,
I'm talking about the witnesses.
okay, gotcha. Anything on your side?
I agree, Your Honor, Joel did for all defense, we agree, this is not including jury selection either.
Okay,
But I think that's a fair summary of the actual trial part from first witness to last,
okay,
possibly even closing. I don't think it's gonna be, we've been pretty efficient in the
Yeah.
prior trials, so knock wood, we'll be able to do that here.
okay. So we'll, we have you scheduled for, the 28th through the 14th, right? I
Right.
believe. So we'll keep that. Yeah, my days, as you probably realized, can vary in terms of hearings, and I'm trying to, in all candor, do a better job at limiting people's time in hearings, but sometimes I have a difficulty doing that. So yeah, we'll keep you on, because between jury selection, closings, punitives, openings, sounds like we may, go into that week of the 10th, which would be fine. So in terms of my days, so on the 28th, we'd start at 1, bringing the jury in, or prospective jurors. Monday and Wednesday are my criminal calendars. Those can part of the reason why they sometimes go long is I have to sit around and wait for attorneys to show up. But I can do, when we're in trial, I can continue things if people aren't here, but usually those will go probably starting 11 on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, civil now. We could start at either 10:30 or 11, depending on how much I have that particular day. Fridays, we can start at 9. Looking at my calendar right now, criminal's hard because a bunch of stuff gets set like the weekend before. But yeah, criminal will plan on starting like at 11. Civil doesn't look, well, take that back. So on the 30th, so next Thursday, might be best to plan on starting at 1. Because I have pretrial status checks at 9:30, and I've got 21 out of 20 on that calendar, which means there's a lot. But the other civil days, look, it'll be 10:30 or 11. Yeah, so like, we'll keep you open in case we need that third week there, which is totally fine. Any questions about scheduling on your side?
Just very briefly, Your Honor, so do we have a start time for the 29th, or are we gonna defer that till Tuesday?
Oh, 29th should be like at 11.
Well, thank you, Your Honor, and then as far as stop times, I assume the court stops at 4:45 or something like that, or? is it-
That's a good question. So I'll give you the lawyerly answer, depends. I'm pretty flexible as long as it's around 5, so whether it's 4:45 or 4:55 or 5 or 5:05, 5:10, around there, and I just say that because it depends on where you're at with the witness or whatever, if you finish with somebody, or if it's like, you still need to go on, but here's the end of the topic kind of thing. Probably not a concrete answer for you, but that's kind of what I do. Any follow-up though?
No, flexibility is appreciated, Your Honor, we appreciate that very much, thank you.
Yeah. Zoom, so when we're in trial, if anybody wants to watch, they're welcome to do that in person. So, nobody's, we're not, having, people watching the trial on Zoom. Any questions about that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, anything else from either side?
Your Honor, Joe for the real water defendants, our exhibits have been approved by the vault, and there's a golden drive. I understand that it is going to be delivered on Tuesday unless the court would like it now, and I'll call the person and they can bring it now.
So I'll have to ask, did you say golden drive?
The magic drive, whatever they call it now.
They call it Golden Drive.
Okay, I just don't know what that is.
Yeah, he doesn't deal with that.
Okay,
Tuesday is fine.
Thank you very much.
okay, there's your answer to your question.
And then I guess the other issue is demonstratives. We just got an email this morning with plaintiffs, haven't had a chance to look at them. We've been able to reach agreements before. I don't anticipate a problem, but I just wanted to alert the court in case something arises.
Something's crazy, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, and the fact that they gave that to you today means that's good, because a lot of times I have to deal with it. Oh, we just got this right now, and so anything else?
Did everything going okay with the jury commissioner? As far as you,
Yes. I mean, we're gonna call in the first 100 from bag number order, minus all the excusals, right? So whatever's left, the first 100 are gonna come in on Tuesday. And then we'll add on as we need them.
Mr. Jones was picked to jury with Judge Den. Pretty complicated products case that's covered over three-day weekends. They actually see the jury. Gonna have days.
Okay, yeah, in the last few years, gotten a lot better in terms of being more efficient with that type of stuff.
Your Honor, for more deer, haven't enough coffee yet. Are we going to be questioning just the folks that are seated up
Oh,
here?
that's-
We're going to be questioning people in back.
Yeah, that's a great question. So generally the folks in the box, and I can't remember, I'm glad you asked that. Did you all have questions that you want me to ask? If you do, you probably gave them to me, or if you don't,
We typically had the court ask the very general questions, state your name.
Okay.
How long you lived in Las Vegas, that kind of thing.
Okay.
We can certainly give the court a list of those if the court doesn't have a generic.
I do, sometimes, so I do have, although it's, you know, somewhere behind me, one thing, with the generics, I've had people go both ways on, one of the ones toward the end, of my questions, is a, can you be fair and impartial? And parties sometimes like me to ask that question, parties sometimes do not. So if anybody has a problem, because that's one of the standard questions, but like I said, sometimes people don't want me to ask that question. Any thoughts on that?
No objection, you asking that question from real water.
And Judge, usually they always say yes, and then you start getting into the weeds and the answer turns to no, so I don't. I defer to Mr. Parker on this if he's on the phone. But, you know, given that we've had a questionnaire, I don't know if that would really need a lot from the court, because a lot of
Yeah.
stuff in questionnaires with court.
Yeah. See there.
Use the phone icon.
We just view it more as a warm up. Give the jury a chance to get comfortable and sit down and relax for a minute before we start asking them, but I don't know.
I do think they should be told at the beginning that it's not gonna be, I think with questionnaire, we said 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Response.
So do this if you could, because we do have, you know, a long weekend. Do a meet, confer, I mean, and maybe it's plaintiff sends over, here's a draft of, you know, questions we'd like.
I think Mr. Parker.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, yeah, so, and then, you know, if you hand that to me Tuesday before, you know, 5-10 minutes before they come in, that's totally fine.
Sounds great.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's summer, we would recommend 4 alternates having a chance to talk.
Oh, that's a good question too.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, Chuck.
Okay,
We was last time Mr. Jones in San Diego, they lost all the alternates on the first day. And
oh, really?
everyone was crossing their fingers.
Oh, my gosh.
Keep the whole jury for 3 weeks, which they did, but it was a pretty scary experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would, yeah, my heart would not like that.
No.
So, okay, just remind me, cause I may forget, but 4 alternates, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, in terms of folks in the box, so yeah, generally direct your questions of folks in the box. Mine will be for everyone, you know, who comes in. And we may have talked about this, but sometimes it's good. So if, let's say, juror in seat 3 gets excused, we'll bring a replacement up to sit in that particular chair. We don't move people down. If somebody does not exercise a peremptory, that just means the last person in the box falls off, basically. Your peremptories are 4+1. So it's the last, you know, typically it's the last 4 who you do the alternates. But that would only give us 2, so we'd be the last, what, 6? Would it be 6? 6 minus 1 minus 1 would give us 4. Okay. Does that make sense? So the last 6 people there would be the alternate pool, so to speak. While I'm saying things, any questions more in terms of or dire excusals?
Yes, Your Honor. We had an understanding last two trials, I think, and I would assume it would be the same here. That the order the seats will be filled is in the order that they're excused. And so we've had some interesting issues where a juror has forgotten to show up on time, and we've said, okay, we're gonna hold that. If the person gets here in the next X, they sit down and we keep going. Otherwise, that seat will be the next seat filled and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to see the court's inclination on those sorts of issues.
So if somebody doesn't show up, you're saying, so let's say like during the person in seat 5, you know. Yeah, maybe
They call
late
it
and
a freeway.
then doesn't end up coming in.
Judge, I think most people apply what I call summer rules. Someone shows up 5 minutes when they're not in line, when the bailiff lines them up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they show up when people are walking in, we can kind of squeeze them back.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. But yeah, if somebody doesn't, so let's say 5 ends up not coming in, then 5 gets replaced by whoever's next in the back. Does that answer?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further. Your
All
Honor.
right, see you.
Oh, Your Honor, I had one more thing.
Sure.
I just realized.
Oh, that's okay.
We did propose some pre-instructions based on the
Yeah.
instructions on the order on that. They are not in part of this stack that I have or provided to the court. I don't know if I failed to send them around last night or if they were just not printed as part of this morning. Either way, we'll include those. There's only a few of them, and I think there's a couple that are in dispute.
Okay, so I will need to rule, I mean, not right away, I guess, because we'll be doing for year, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll include those. I'll email them to Mr. Odou and include them in the
Yeah,
documents that we email, but that wasn't provided to the court. I just wanted to make.
yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah, so those, yeah, that makes sense. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further. Your Honor.
Thank you all. See you Tuesday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.